Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Campfire Stories. Jay Smiley here, your tour guide into the strange, the unknown, the terrifying. Tonight's story is a submission from a member of the Grimm Society. Their name is V. The Doll's Eyes. Have you ever received a gift, but to you, it seemed more like a nightmare? This happened to me when I was 8 years old, but I remember it as if it was yesterday. My aunt's grandmother had just passed away, and she was busy packing away all of her mother's belongings when she came across an old doll that she thought I would like, so she kept it for me. I was never really a fan of dolls, and I was especially not a fan of the ones that could open and close their eyes. They just seemed kind of creepy to me. That summer, my aunt came over to visit, and she brought me that doll she found and told me that it was her mother's and she wanted me to have it. When I saw the doll as she pulled it out from behind her back, it looked so odd. It was huge, about the size of a 4-year-old child. Well, at least it was huge to me, and when I saw its face, I was stunned that the doll looked so much like me, with its wavy dark hair and its brown eyes that opened and closed. My aunt told me that the doll looked so much like me that she instantly thought that I should have it when she saw it. I hesitantly took the doll from her as she handed it over and tried to give my aunt a smile and thanked her. But honestly, as soon as I saw that doll, I was scared to death of it. That night, my mom tried to tuck the doll into bed with me, but I outright refused. So she sat the doll down on the top of my toy box instead, giggling as she did. She looked at me and said that it really does look just like you. Then she turned the lights off and closed the door. Now it was just me and that doll. There it sat, life-sized and illuminated by the moonlight. I could see her eyes glistening in the dark. They were looking right at me. I heard my mom getting ready to take a shower. I heard the bathroom door shut. Now I was truly alone with this thing. I couldn't take it anymore, so I got out of bed and turned the lights on. There she sat, lifeless, staring at me. So I grabbed her, picking her up off the toy box. I needed to get her out of my room, or there was no way I would be getting to sleep that night. I picked her up and took her out of my room, putting her in the hallway next to the bathroom door. I was hoping that after my mom showered, she would see it and she would just take it away. I tiptoed back to my room and crawled into bed, finally feeling at ease, and drifted off to sleep. It was about midnight when I was startled out of my sleep with a loud clap. It sounded like a summer storm was rolling in. The wind started to whip around outside my open window, and my curtains were blowing around like crazy. I immediately looked over at my toy box just to be sure that my mom didn't put that spooky thing back in my room, but it was nowhere to be seen, so I thought Mom had got the hint. I put the covers over my head and tried to go back to sleep, trying hopefully to just sleep out the storm. As the thunder and lightning calmed down to just a comfortable sound of rainfall, I could feel myself drifting back to sleep when I heard a very faint giggling. It sounded like it was coming from somewhere in my room. As soon as I heard it, I got up and turned on the lights and looked around, but the giggling stopped and turned into a faint whispering. It sounded like it was coming from my closet. I was scared but curious, so I hesitantly started to open the closet to see what was making that sound. I slowly grabbed the handle and started to pull the door open, and the whispering stopped. I mustered up all the courage I could and threw the door open, and there she was. She was looking right at me, stone-faced. To me, her face almost seemed to be giving off expressions, and the expression it gave was not happy. I screamed and ran to my mom's room and yelled at her, asking her why she put that doll in my closet, that I didn't like it at all. My mom tried to calm me down, then told me that she didn't put the doll in my closet. She looked at me oddly and said, "Remember, silly? I put her on your toy box." I looked at her bewildered and told her no, that I had gotten up and put the doll in the hallway next to the shower door. but she said that she never saw the doll in the hallway, and that maybe I must have just put the doll in the closet and don't remember doing it. But there was no way. I clearly remembered putting that doll in the hallway. I begged her to let me sleep in a room that night because I knew darn well I did not put that thing in my closet. The next day came and went. I avoided my room as much as possible until it was time to get ready for bed. My bathroom was connected to my room, and from the bathroom you could clearly see my closet. I had forgotten that I didn't close it when I threw my clothes in the hamper. I was just trying to get in and out of there as quickly as possible, trying to get ready for bed, and there she sat, still in there. I could clearly see her from the bathroom, and she kept those eyes on me. I was brushing my teeth and peering over at the closet at her, but when I saw her this time, one of her eyes were shut, as if she was winking at me. I thought maybe it just fell shut. But either way, I really needed to hurry up so that I could get out of that bathroom and close that closet door. As I was putting my toothbrush up, I glanced over at her again, but this time it was her other eye that was shut, and now the one that was shut was open. I thought about it for a moment, thinking that maybe I was just mistaken, that maybe her eyes were the same the first time, but I didn't think that was right. They changed. Now the other eye was open. I stood there just staring at her for a moment. I could be wrong, I thought. Maybe I just imagined it. My heart started to race as I thought about this. I could feel my hands starting to get sweaty and icy cold. I took a long, hard stare at that doll's face. Then her eyes, they started to move, like they were alive. She closed both eyelids, then opened one, then opened the other, until both eyes were open and she was staring right at me. She was alive. I turned tail and ran to my mom, telling her that this doll had to go. She started to tell me that this was impossible, that I was just scaring myself, but I insisted that doll had to go. After a few nights of refusing to go into my room at all, my mom finally got rid of that doll. Thank goodness, I thought. That is until I found out that my mom had given that doll to my grandma, whose house I was about to spend the night at that very next day.
Thank you, everyone. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button so you won't miss out on more campfire stories. And tune in next time. We upload 2 times a week every week, and if you have a story that you would like to submit for a future episode, make sure to email it to us at thebrothersgrimm@gmail.com. Until next time, stay smiley, everyone.